A high-profile CEO murdered in a cold-blooded assassination.
Prosecutors filing a murder charge against Luigi Mangione for last week's shooting of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
An alleged assassin now revered by young leftists who justify the killing on a broken system.
I'm completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
Sorry, but you can't get me to feel bad when shitty things happen to shitty evil people. That motherfucker chose to be in his position of CEO knowing that he had millions of Americans' lives in his hands.
While politicians continue to push class warfare.
There's a nation, people on top got it all, they're doing really well. Working class people struggling.
Violence is never the answer. This guy gets a trial who's allegedly killed the CEO of UnitedHealth. But you can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
Yeah. I think for anyone who is confused or shocked or appalled, they need to understand that people experience denied claims as an act of violence against them.
Now, another CEO killing has garnered a similar disturbing online response after being innocently gunned down by a crazed gunman in Manhattan.
If the average individual got a lump sum of $9,000, for most of us that would be life-changing. And this lady right here earned $9,000 per minute.
So another CEO was shot, and I just saw a comment that said, "These are rookie numbers, guys." No, but they're not wrong. They're not wrong. These are rookie numbers.
And the fear is growing that there's something bigger going on. Why are so many Americans showing support for these rash killings and worshiping the alleged killers? Can it all be blamed on a broken healthcare system in a country where the American dream seems more and more out of reach for young people? Or is there something else at play pointing to a sickness in American culture? Here's everything you need to know.
Cold-blooded, just a cold-blooded, horrible killing, and how people can like this guy is, that's a sickness, actually.
On December 4th, 2024, UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson was fatally shot by a masked gunman outside the Hilton Hotel along 6th Avenue in what police called a brazen targeted attack. The cold-blooded gunman was caught on surveillance footage firing multiple gunshots into Thompson and coolly pulling back the weapon's slide with each shot. Thompson, a father of two, had been working in healthcare for more than 20 years and was hailed as a stand-up guy by those who knew him. The CEO earned just under $10 million in 2022, and his net worth was an estimated $43 million. For many online, he wasn't a victim, but a scapegoat for everything wrong in America.
I don't know that everybody or anybody wants to admit this, but people are fantasizing, have been fantasizing for a long time about killing or destroying in some way or another the healthcare companies, because either they themselves have been denied healthcare treatment or their loved ones or a friend.
It is very easy to really project your hatred, the distrust, and the hurt that you may have observed in people around you, maybe in family members, onto that and think like this: yes, this is somebody who doesn't deserve to live. Now, of course, I'm not endorsing this, but that is when people have a pent-up anger, they look at this and don't see any way out. When they're in their anger, they may actually also wish the beneficiary of the system ill.
Call me crazy, but it's a good day when a billionaire dies.
Are you having fun? It's almost over. It's just begun.
Low-key, I'm just happy that Assassinations made a big comeback this year.
I don't wanna look at anything else now that I saw you.
To the CEO who got shot, I hope you rot in hell, you bastard son of a bitch.
I don't understand what's going on. Why are you crying?
A person is dead. I feel sad.
That's insane. You don't feel sad when a monster dies in a monster movie.
People are perceiving the CEO, Brian Thompson, as a symbol of an oppressive system, and they feel that there's no way that they can get justice. I think people are feeling powerless and resentful, and it's a coping mechanism for them to celebrate the misfortune of Brian Thompson's murder, and they see that this coping mechanism helps them in their mind feel that justice is being restored. I also think that the way the press handled the story, it intensified the public reaction. For example, headlines will say things like CEO murdered instead of like father murdered, or name of, the person murdered. And I think that this is dehumanizing the person and making celebrating the murder like more intensified.
The manhunt continues for the assassin who gunned down the CEO of UnitedHealthcare on Wednesday. And it really says something about America that a guy was murdered in cold blood, and the two main reactions were, yeah, well, healthcare stinks. And also, girl, that shooter hot.
As for the alleged killer, who was identified 5 days later as 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, he also became a symbol, but one of a heartthrob anti-hero. The Ivy League grad and alleged anti-capitalist was found with a ghost gun, mask, and writings linking him to the deadly ambush. The cult of Luigi was born.
Mama, I'm in love with a criminal.
So I think I'm more obsessed with the Luigi case than like any single human being that I know other than friends on TikTok.
Now, for him, the reason why people have, in a very unique way, come to his defense, literally supporting his defense fund by sending money and so on, placards, all different kinds of ways. And why? The answer is because Luigi Mangione, for many, is like a Robin Hood. He wants to steal from the rich and give to the poor.
Robin Hood, or maybe more Bonnie and Clyde, really hurting the people that they think should be heard.
So who are the rich and who are the poor in this case? The rich are the insurance companies who are making tons of money by denying claims, health claims, from Americans, which is why he struck a nerve. His killing of the CEO of UnitedHealthcare struck a nerve.
Any hope that the reaction to Thompson's death was just an isolated incident was dashed on July 28th, when a crazed gunman strolled into a Midtown Manhattan office building on Park Avenue, killing 4 people. One of those senselessly slaughtered was Wesley Lipatner, a senior managing director and CEO of Blackstone's Real Estate Income Trust. The mother of 2 was reportedly caught in the crossfire and not specifically targeted by the gunman. But rather than sympathy and outrage, there were disturbing echoes in the online response to the reaction to the Thompson killing.
Wesley's company is responsible for buying up thousands of single-family homes across America in order to artificially inflate the price. So I really only have one thing to say about her and her tragic death.
According to the experts, this type of response isn't completely unheard of. The psychological phenomenon called Schadenfreude, or taking pleasure in another's misfortune, has historical precedent.
There are some historical examples of Schadenfreude would be when Marie Antoinette, during the French Revolution, was taken to the guillotine. She was seen as a symbol of royal excess and indifference. So as she was taken to the guillotine, people were cheering and laughing. They saw it as a symbol of justice being restored. Another example would be Enron. When the Enron executives were going down, people were cheering that on as well.
Today, it seems to be mostly America's young people who are cheering on violence against CEOs, a generation that feels like they've been dealt an unfair hand.
So there's a perception out there that young people are less hardworking, less willing to sacrifice compared to the previous generations, and that their complaints about the economy today are part of a victim mentality. But when you dig deeper into the statistics and the numbers, you'll find that a lot of their complaints may be justified. Keep in mind that younger generations today have significantly less wealth than their parents did at the same age. Even when you account for inflation, you look at the home ownership statistics, people in their 20s and 30s today have a much harder time buying homes compared to their parents and grandparents. You look at real wages since the 1970s, real wages have stagnated while the costs of things like housing and healthcare and college have skyrocketed.
The general sense of their own life experience is that that there is a deep divide, that there is a divide between the haves and the have-nots. And as a result of this, they think they should align themselves, maybe also from a moral point of view, with those people who really fight evil. And for them, it is the elites somewhere up there. They look at Mangione as a symbol of all that has accumulated in terms of life experience.
But according to New York-based psychotherapist Jonathan Alpert, there's something toxic at work that has less to do with structural issues and more to do with something that's become prevalent in American culture, which he says is a victim mentality perpetrated by therapists.
It's quite sad to see someone just gunned down in the street and murdered. And I see a father, a business executive, a friend, a loved one who's murdered, but some on the far left, they see him as a symbol of corporate evil or greed, and that justifies their killing. So I think there's a lot wrong in our society today. A lot of this stems from therapy itself. Therapists are perpetuating this victim mindset. There's no outrage. There should be outrage, but instead what we're seeing is this victim mindset that people just carry out into society, this grievance culture. And it will continue as long as we have therapists that are perpetuating it and people that feel entitled and feel like they want to make a statement like we saw with Luigi Mangione.
No matter what the cause, the experts we spoke with agree that positive reactions to executive murders are not a healthy thing for American society.
What's happening is like people are seeing people like Brian Thompson and Wesley Lepater as being responsible for the oppression, when in reality, they are just avatars for systems that have they have to answer to the investors and board of directors, and they might not have as much decision making as people think they do.
It was very surprising to me that there was this real outpouring here, because ultimately people also missed that this is a father, this is a person. The Brian Thompson was a person who came from very little. He was actually also a sort of I wouldn't say rags to riches, but really a story where somebody was able to shape their American dream. And these are kinds of things in these broader political discussion, once you adopt the lens of terrorism and everything becomes just symbolic warfare, when your goal was not so much to hurt this one person, but just to intimidate and frighten everybody just like them, then you completely lose that humanity, and you may actually work, in this case, cross purposes.